With India winning 7 matches on the trot and playing table toppers here at the Eden Gardens in Kolkata, there is a subtext to this whole story as well. And clearly, with the dominance being the way it is, the subtext becomes the main theme, and that is King Kohli's birthday. All of a sudden, all of India, 1 billion people and cricket fans across the world will know that come Sunday against South Africa, something very special will happen at the Eden Gardens. For 35 years, this man has been revered, at least for the last 15 when he's taken over the mantle from the Under-19 World Cup days. How long he will go on, we don't know. What we do know is he's given us incredible joy, satisfaction, and of course, a lot of wins. Legends regard him as the best. Many call him the GOAT. Several cricketers of the past think he's a blessing to the game, the perfect ambassador for the sport we all love. The truth is, Virat Kohli is the Pied Piper. He is the talisman, the brand that world cricket so desperately needs. On the occasion of his birthday, as we build up, here are cricketing legends talking about the impact Virat Kohli has had on this game. Take a listen and celebrate Virat's birthday with us for the next 3 days.
He's playing very well. There's no question about it, he will be India's strength D player along with Rohit Sharma.
His skills are as good as we've seen, probably throughout the history of cricket, But what sets him apart for me is his ability to bring that energy and that passion to absolutely every game of cricket. He's figured out what his best version is in terms of performance, and it seems like he can channel that and bring that energy every single game. And yes, at times that might mean it's picking a fight or getting the crowd on his side, but it's very clear to me that he understands himself. He understands what his best version is, and he's amazing at getting himself into that mindset every game. So, look, that's a special skill that I don't think many can do. We all work to that, but yeah, that's something that I see in him that I definitely admire.
विराट, मैं एक ही छोटी सी बात बोलूंगा अबाउट विराट ही इज लाइक अ 4-wheel कार. आप उसे किसी भी सिचुएशन में डालो, किसी भी हर्डल से गुजारो, ही इज देयर एंड ही इज द मैन एंड ही इज डन दैट so many times. I guess words are not enough to praise what he's done or he's doing. But I would love when he comes to bat, and I guess when he comes to bat, it's such a treat to watch how he plays and takes the game down regardless of the situation. So I guess it's blessings that we have a player like Virat Kohli who we could see and talk about him. I guess his self-belief is on the next level. I'm sure he also goes through a lot of pressure, but his self-belief, and he knows his game and he stick to that. He always takes, if he's playing an ODI, he takes his 10-15 balls, gets used to of the conditions, and then he plays accordingly, regardless of the situation. So I guess after he played those games, then he takes his game to a next level, then next level. And the best part he has, that he knows how to finish the game. That is very, very important. And he comes and bats at number 3, the most important number in any format, number 3. And I guess when you have a player like him in your team, then it's very rare that you as a team you could go wrong. And he's like so fit.
Yeah.
And I guess, and because he knows that he has to run as well, so he's making sure that he trains hard, stays fit, and everything is going in his favor. And his main goal is cricket. So your main goal as an athlete has to be your profession.
I think from the batter's point of view, Virat Kohli as well, he's a fantastic batter. One thing that I can tell you about Virat Kohli, you must, as a player or as a bowler, you should not abuse him. He starved for someone who will say something that will tick him. You should leave him as it is. Let him play his natural game and make his own mistake. That's how the countries will be able, to get him out, because he gets frustrated when there's no one saying something to him. But the moment you see someone who's trying to either, to tick him off, and then he's tough for that one, and it becomes dangerous. So for me, Virat Kohli, as any other countries that are playing against India, don't say a word. Don't say a word. I'll say that again. Do not say a word. Let him be him. Let him make his own mistake without anyone saying a word to him.
He's a genius. He's class. He's back to his best. He was always going to be back to his best. I think anybody that wrote him off is very silly. Class is permanent, and he's another great player that has shown that. And this is probably his best format. He's a genius in Test cricket and 2020 cricket, but he's once in a lifetime player in one-day cricket. So, he knows conditions. He reads the game really well. He knows when he can afford to take his time. He knows when he's got to up the ante. He knows how to, he knows how to chase a total better than any player in this format ever before him. So again, I wouldn't be surprised if he has a stellar World Cup.
He's a truly remarkable player. Who I've admired for a long time, and not only the volume of runs he scores, but actually how he carries himself both on and off the field is something really special. And when you look at the Virat Kohli as just purely as a player, he's the player that you don't want to play against on the big stage, because he loves the big stage. He harnesses all of the energy and hype around big games and uses that to his advantage. And there are very few players, certainly over the course of a generation that I played in, that had that type of ability. So the World Cup is yet another stage that he will lean in and really, really look forward to playing a big role in Rohit Sharma's team. And he will want to win. He is that type of person. He is that type of competitor that there'll be nothing more satisfactory than lifting the trophy. And that type of focus within a team creates its own leadership style within the change room. And it gathers and harnesses any other players that might be nervous or hesitant. So hopefully that they can harness the momentum that he will bring and the volume of runs that he will bring as well.
You talk about champion, you talk about master blaster, you think about Sachin Tendulkar. The first name which comes to your mind is master blaster Sachin Tendulkar. But Virat Kohli is a class act. He's a class act. He has delivered so much not for India, but so much for the fans, for the lover of the game, to watch him bat. When he comes to bat, in any format, nobody leaves their seat. They just want to watch him bat. It doesn't matter. And he went through bad phases. You have to accept it. He had his ups and downs, lows and downs, right? But then he came back even more stronger. It just shows what sort of a character he possesses. He's got a great character. As a human being, he wants he's super fit. I think the thing that goes in his favor, according to me, mentally and physical fitness, to be able to cope up the amount of pressure, traveling, playing home, overseas, day in, day out, scoring runs day in, day out. There will be. You're a human being. There will be sometime you'll see people getting out earlier, but whenever he does that, he always comes back in such a big way that it just gives a kind of a really huge smile on the faces of each and every one of us, that okay, he's still around, he's not faded away. I think this is also in terms of being a senior cricketer, in terms of playing for such a long time for India, this is probably the right time for him to say, okay, if I want to go by lifting the World Cup.
मैं हमेशा बिलीव करता हूँ यार, अच्छे बंदे के साथ ना बुरा कभी नहीं हो सकता। ये अच्छा बंदा है, विराट कोहली अच्छा बंदा है। He believes that the greatest Sachin is greatest of all time. I believe that. लेकिन stats सचिन से बेहतर हो सकते हैं। Please go out, save yourself, get your stats better और अपनी जान को संभाले और करते जाओ। T20 से जान छुड़ाए यार, बस करें। और 50 से पता नहीं खेलना नहीं खेलना किसके बाद, लेकिन अपने 100 कंट्रीब्यूशन जो है उसकी वो करता रहे और इंडिया जीतता रहे और अपनी लेगेसी को एंजॉय करे यार।
He was one of the guys that stood up in that T20 World Cup battle in 2022, and he's a man with a sense of occasion, a master of the white ball and particularly the 50-over format. So I think that he will be very aware of the magnitude, as always, of that type of contest and the history around it.
Virat, he's a champion player, and the big matches will be, the ones that he aims for, and he wants to perform well in every tournament that he plays in. But it was interesting. Soon after I started coaching India, I was in my room in the hotel, and the phone rang, and it was Sachin. And Sachin said, "Can I come and talk to you?" And so yes, he came down, and the question he asked was, "Why does batting get more difficult? Surely it should get easier." And I said, "Not really. When you're younger, you're just playing the game. You see the ball, you hit the ball. You're just looking to score runs. You don't think about very much else around that. As you get older, the opposition come to know a little bit more about you, and they understand you a lot better, and they know how to bowl to you and what sort of fields to set. You having, particularly if you've been a good player, you've started to work out that the things that can go wrong, the things that you hadn't even considered when you were younger, and you also realise just how hard it is to perform at that level constantly, and how much hard work it takes, not least of all mentally, to make runs at that level." And I said to him, if you want to bat like you did as a young man, then you have to think like you did as a young man. And that means getting rid of some of this extraneous information that really you don't need. You're almost sort of jumping at shadows in a lot of cases. So if you can keep it simple, just focus on the basic things that you need to do, then batting should get easier. And I have no doubt that Virat is in that stage of his cricket career where he's been around a lot, he's seen everything that can happen, the opposition know him inside out, and he also knows just how hard it is to perform at that level. So it takes a special effort, and that special effort sometimes is just to try and decompress yourself, let go of a lot of the information that you've taken on board along the journey, and just keep it simple. The other thing is that you need to come into these games fresh mentally. So he will have known, Virat will know what he needs to do to freshen himself up. There's no doubt in my mind that he will prepare himself well. He's always prepared himself well. He knows what he has to do. He will try and get himself to be as fresh mentally as possible.
I think he's going to be a massive player for India in this World Cup, and probably the most experienced apart from Rohit. I think Virat is the only one who's been in that team from 2011, if I'm not mistaken. So, he's gone through that cycle, and you would have seen what Sachin had to go through during that period, and he would have learned from that. And I think he'll be just like Rohit. I think they're very mature cricketers, and they will take it in the right spirit and play and enjoy. I mean, the whole point of World Cups and these big tournaments are that you need to enjoy the tournaments. I mean, if you don't enjoy it, it becomes a bit of a burden. It doesn't matter your performances as long as you're enjoying those tournaments and the challenges. I think that's where your best will come out, and it's simple as that.
I believe he will be a part of the lineup. He's still a very, very good cricketer, a quality batsman, and every great batsman goes through patches where they struggle to score runs. I can't think of any great batsman who never struggled in international cricket. Virat, special player. He's had his time where he struggled a bit, but he seemed to be getting back into form.
I'm looking at Virat Kohli, and I was just looking at the stats the other day. He got 100 in his 500th international game, and I'm comparing him to Tendulkar. Tendulkar, if you look at the games, has slightly got a better conversion rate with the hundreds in that aspect. But when you look at the innings actually played, Virat Kohli's got a better record. So I just think he's got that hunger back. There's a little bit of pressure taken off him. I think he's got unfinished business, and that's probably the big danger for opposition teams is Virat Kohli. And that innings over here at the MCG against Pakistan, hitting Harris Rauf back over his head off a good length, that was the best shot that I have ever seen in cricket. It was brilliant. Wow. It was just awesome. He was switched on. But I think fans out there have got to realise too that there's a lot of pressure on Virat Kohli. He's going to have those ups and downs. Sachin Tendulkar had those ups and downs. So when he's got that right frame of mind, he's had the pressure off him, he's been able to relax and come back, you see the dominant Virat Kohli, and I think we're going to see a brilliant Virat Kohli on home soil in a World Cup. He wants it, and that's a big danger for opposition teams.